What's up guys, I'm Crystal Cookie, otherwise known as CG Cock. I'm going to be going over every bit of detail you need to know about how to play Duelist at a Radiant level. It would mean the world if you could like, comment, subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, we're back. Today's going to be Raze on Lotus. Although this is an advanced guide, this is going to be kind of a shorter video considering Raze is very easy to play on Lotus if you know how to play her effectively, which is what I'm going to be teaching you today. For starters, if we're fighting a main as the attacker on Lotus, we can either do two things. We can either use our satchels to swing this guy to catch him off guard, or we could satchel to rubble to acquire this rubble space. When you have rubble space, this leaves your team in a more advantageous fight towards winning the A main space. So if we were to satchel swing, it would look something like this.
Satchel out.
And then if we were to satchel to rubble,
Satchel out. Satchel out.
it would look something like that. Keep in mind, while you're in the air when you're satcheling, you want to make sure that nobody is pushing up. So what you want to do as you're satcheling, you want to take a glance towards A main, like I showed you when I satcheled across, to make sure no one on the opposing team is trying to take this close slant space without being seen. Now, when you get to rubble, you can either wait for your team's utility or wait for a player to swing with. By utility, I mean you could have maybe a gecko sitting a root. Your gecko could throw a blind high for you, and you could swing with the blind. The same rules apply for any initiator that has a flash and or duelist that also has a flash that allows you to take this fight in an easier way. Another example of initiator's utility would be a fade eye. Say your fade is by root as well. They can throw a fade eye on top of tree, or they could throw a fade eye somewhere towards the orb so that if a player is near slant, they'll look towards the fade eye and you have a free swing on them. If you just so happen to get cut off from your team due to enemy's utility and you're left here stranded, you can utilize your grenade to cut off an angle. For example, let's say we want to cut this angle off. We can jump nade without having to expose ourselves to nade. That way you secure more of your living chance. So you could jump throw the nade. And it would cut off completely A main. And then as that nade is going off, the enemy is going to avoid it and try to go towards site or back into stairs, which either one cannot see you from this angle. That way you could swing slant for free. And you can scale all the way out to tree door if you really need to fight anyone. A lot of players like to play behind this box. You could spam this box. The main purpose on Raze is to pretty much secure space for your team. That doesn't necessarily mean run in and die, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to run in and kill people. What you really need to do is single out angles for your team so it makes your team have a higher percentage of winning the round. And if we were defending A, what you normally would do is you would combo utility with an initiator, say a breach would stun from a link
Caution here.
to root, and you would throw your nade instantly. I like to do this when you're running so that it goes faster and further.
Grenade.
Now, eventually, this team will either wait out the grenade if you do it too much, or they'll go to rubble instantly instead, as an Omen TP, Jet Dash, or Raze satchels. So if they eventually learn, if you have another teammate like a Gecko, Gecko can molly root, and you can nade rubble. Same concept applies. I like to run as well.
Grenade.
Another thing that you can do on Raze is you can get to rubble at the same time or hopefully before the enemies get to rubble. All you have to do is double satchel towards rubble. There's two ways to do this. You can do it the fast way or you can get on top of rubble. The fast way is definitely the more beneficial because you're applying a lot more pressure a lot quicker. So if you're going the fast way, as soon as the barrier drops, you just want to drop a satchel instantly and double satchel over to rubble.
Satchel out. Satchel out.
Now we made it here very fast, and we took a glance as we were in air, like I showed you before when I was satcheling to rubble, to make sure nobody made it out. Now, if you're going top rubble, the one thing I really don't like about this is you have to walk a bit before you actually satchel in order to get on top. So instead of the satchel being somewhere close to A main, you would throw it somewhere relatively close to the orb.
Satchel out. Satchel out.
Now that I've shown you how to fight A, we're going to look towards B. Typically when you're B, there's really only two things to do. Is one, play it slow, and two, play it defensively. By defensively, I mean hold your ground, aka the front B space. This is where your boombot would come and play. You would throw your boombot front B,
Bomb buddy out.
and if it ticks anything, you're able to swing off of it, or If like 2 or 3 people shoot it, you have the option to either nade and fall back, or nade and move forward. Now, if we don't fight for B main space and we're holding it more passively, we could use our boombot to clear from deeper.
Go get him.
Same rules apply. If your boombot spots someone, you have a grenade for that instance. And if you don't want to use your grenade then, you can use your grenade when they're executing sight. Say if one of them flash out, or you hear a satchel or something,
Grenade!
you throw that, and then you hold in case they swing past your grenade. Now for attacking B, you can either do it very fast from double satcheling off this box like this,
Satchel out. Satchel out.
or you can play off contact and clear all of these close angles with a body, and then use your boombot to clear the close angles. I like to bank it off this close wall
Go get him.
because it'll come back and bank off of this and clear close left for you. Then you just have to worry about the main spots where people would be, which would be
There.
upper, C link, and
There.
A link. And then make sure as you're doing this, you want to be prepared for a player to be playing this close box in B main. So you can either spam the box, or as your teammates throw smokes down and everything like that, you can be pre-aiming this in case he swings you. But eventually you are going to need to clear this B main space. After you've cleared out the close B main space, it's really hard to satchel out without messing up one of your teammates. So if they do want you to satchel out, you pretty much just throw one.
Satchel out.
You want to do it closer to the choke, because if you do it further back,
Satchel out. Satchel out.
you'll really satchel your team away from the fight. But if you do it closer,
Satchel out.
the teammates back here will not get affected by your satchel. And then for your nade, obviously, say if someone is close, you can nade the close guy. And if you don't want to nade close, pretty much save your nade to close out any opposition angle.
There.
C link,
There.
heaven,
There.
or A link. Keep in mind, if they are in A link,
There.
then your nade can go through this window up here.
Grenade!
All right, now that I've shown you A and B, we're gonna go over C. Pretty much for C, as Raze, you won't be playing here often, but when you are playing here, you're fighting for the space. And if you weren't fighting for the space, I'll show you after. But say you are fighting for the space, you would have a one-way here, and if you just so happen to have no smokes, then it's gonna be a rough situation for you, but you could still play around it. If you do have a one-way, your controller will one-way this. You could either knife out and shift walk all the way over to mound. Basically, you're going to be the king of the hill on mound, and you're going to hold this one way with your life. You can do that with however you like. You can use your nade if you have to. If you have ult, you can rip your ult. Just make sure that they're not too close to you or too far away from you if you are using this utility and or using your ultimate. Another spot you can sit
Watching
is
here.
behind the double stack box. You'd be surprised how often this angle does not get cleared. You can either hold the off angle all the way in the back of the corner, or you can hold the tucked angle, which is the closer part of the corner. Now, another way to play Raze is for re-clearing the mount space, not necessarily taking it, but re-clearing it. This is usually worked best with a crunch from B main and C main. Say if you have an omen, for instance, in B main,
There.
your omen can blind all of mound,
Caution here.
and you don't have to swing to throw this nade. You can bank it off this wall next to the switch.
Grenade!
And after you throw this nade, I would swing and I would hold the right side, because they're either going to run back or they're going to run closer to the orb, which should grant you a free kill because they're not going to have their gun out. And if they are, they're going to be moving, so they're inaccurate while shooting. And then obviously, if you're not fighting for the mount space, you could be playing Ben, for instance, off of your utility. You could Roomba close. You could either do it off the wall behind you,
Go get him.
or you can do it off the wall to the right of you.
Bomb buddy out.
Either way, it is going to spot people that are flooding in C main when they're executing. Keep in mind to only use these abilities when they are executing, because they're going to reveal your location. Now, there's a couple ways to use the nade. Same rule applies for the right wall. You can throw it off the right wall.
Grenade!
It gets the whole flood. Now, if you wanted to hit exactly the entrance and choke point, you would throw a jumping run throw at this wall.
Grenade!
That way, there's not a single person that can get through without taking either a lot of damage or their life. But if you know someone's close to this box, you could literally just jumping right click this nade.
Grenade!
And then as you do that, obviously you're holding for him to swing out of the nade. You don't want to swing into him because if there's no smoke here, there's going to be players holding this back bend space for this player on site. Probably the best spot to play on C, but gets pre-aimed all the time now and util dumped, is probably pillar. You can hold both sides of the pillar, or what I like to do is a really good off angle is to play in front of the pillar. Keep in mind, you're going to need a lot of stall utility in order to play this angle because they are going to flood out and you are very exposed. Then obviously if you need to, you can fall back and use your utility as needed. Say if they're bend, you can raise nade bend and hold for the swing. If they're coming in but you don't know which side they're going, you have a Roomba. You can Roomba both sides.
Bomb buddy out.
And then your ult, obviously, they don't know which side you're going from, so it's a 50-50 which way you want to go to. And then if we're attacking C, obviously, like we said before, you're going to be the space creator. Your main job is to create this space. I like to use an off angle and satchel on top of here.
There.
Then while you're up here, you can either satchel off,
Satchel out.
get early information, or you can fall off and save your other satchel for sight. Best thing for Raze is to get into a point without using any utility so you have it to execute onto sight faster. Now when you're roughly in this area here, don't forget to clear this box. You have your boombot first if you're not going super fast. Typically I like to boombot close waterfall. If you use it towards waterfall,
Bomb buddy out.
and it will clear the most played angle, which is pillar, if it doesn't spot anybody waterfall first. Now, if the boombot did hit somebody water, we can use our nade to clear pillar by simply banking it off of this
There.
wall.
Grenade.
We could also use our nade for bend. What I like to do is throw it more towards the left
There.
side, because if he swings the
Caution
right side,
here.
our players on mound are most likely going to be holding this line. So my nade would go somewhere right along this green branch.
There. Grenade.
So what this would do is either push them right onto site in a spammable range from our man players, or it would force them to swing out into the open into 3 of our teammates or more. Say if you don't have nade, you don't have boombot, you only have satchels, the best place to satchel is directly on top of the double stack boxes.
There. Satchel out. Satchel out.
Not only is this a good spot to execute into, but it's also a very good post plant spot. You can see all of waterfall on an off angle. You can see back pillar on an off angle. And if you're planning towards back sight, you can tuck and you have a very good angle here. The only thing you have to be cautious of is the top sight swing or the bottom water swing. Your ult on this map specifically is probably best used in post plant scenarios. So while they're rushing, you could just pop your ult. Now, most likely, when you do pop this ult, they're either going to be fearful and hide, which stalls the bomb timer, or you guarantee yourself a free kill if they're going for the bomb. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. If you want to see a different map specifically for Raze, or a different duelist specifically for Lotus, please make sure to leave a comment down below to make sure we know so that we can make that video for you. Other than that, I've been Chris or Cookie, otherwise known as CG Cock. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Peace, peace.